Transporter Refueled. Frank Martin, a former mercenary, is hired by a woman and her accomplices to fulfill a contract. Soon, however, he must join forces with them to bring down a Russian crime lord. Welcome to Magician Recaps Explains. The movie begins in the year 1995. Somewhere in a French Riviera city are on the street, strolling for customer. Suddenly, a van rolls up, and a man gets out. One of the black pimps tells him to keep moving, as he's working. The man says, and opens fire with an assault rifle. The man, a Russian named Arkady Karasov, Radovoj Bukvik, and his partners, Yuri Kolokolnikov, and Leo Emisova, Len Kudryjoevsky, continue to fire on the men, eliminating them, and causing their working girls to flee. Karasov sees one man survived, and lets him live with a warning to his bosses, that this territory is theirs now. Karasov whistles, and a van of his girls complete with necklaces with the shape of a knife through the heart, that is to signify they're his property, are made to stand on the same street where the murders took place. One of the girls, Anna, lone Chabanel, is visibly shaken by what has happened. Meanwhile, Karasov notices one of the previous French pimp's working girls, Mesa, Noemi Lenore, is still standing where her bosses just got murdered. Karasov asks her if she wants to work for him, and she quickly says yes. Karasov offers her a ride with him, implying she will be a kept woman, and will not be forced to have sex like the others. 15 years later, Anna is in a nice restaurant. She receives a call, and tells the person on the other side of the line that the plan is in motion. Somewhere in the city, a group of 6 local thugs in a parking garage spot a black Audi. They walk up to it, planning to steal it. Frank Martin, Ed Skrine, sees this, and, seeing Frank, the leader of the thugs orders him to hand over the keys. And Frank says it's not going to happen. The 6 thugs attack Frank, and he makes short work of them using his martial arts training. He knocks him out and drives away. He then picks up his father, Martin Sr., Ray Stevenson. Martin tells his son that he's late, and Frank says he is only 30 seconds late. As they drive off, Frank asks his dad about his retirement, and Martin reveals he will now get €791 a month in retirement money. Frank suddenly gets a call with an unlisted number. His father asks if he is going to answer it, and Frank shakes his head no.
I don't use the phone when I'm driving.
Meanwhile, a Chinese woman named Chao Wengshiyu is in a hotel room with 2 men, waiting for Anna. The accountant of Karasov's money is angry that Anna is late. Anna finally arrives, and the man says they should get the party started.
My sentiments exactly.
Anna and Chao get to work, setting up a line of towels that lead out of the bathroom to the bodies. Anna ordered to add Karasov's necklace to the body. Ignition. Frank and his father have dinner at his house. Martin plans to buy a boat with the money he has saved up. Frank gets a call from the same unlisted number again. Anna asks if he is willing to do a job. Frank says he doesn't take contracts over the phone, and asks to meet, and sets a meet for 2 p.m. the next day. Meanwhile, Karasov is on his yacht, surrounded by women, and his 2 partners, Yuri and Emisova. Mesa is still there, as Karasov's loyal de facto girlfriend, or kept woman. Mesa gets a call, and hands it to Karasov. There has been an accident involving the accountant. Karasov and Mesa meet with Inspector Betrayal, who shows him the corpses of his time showing them then. Karasov insists he is a legitimate businessman, but Betrayal counters he is not accusing him of anything. Karasov makes it clear that if he does try to accuse him, he better have an army with him. Frank then meets with Anna at a local restaurant, and lays out his 3 rules. There will be no names mentioned between them. The deal cannot be changed once it's agreed on, and he is not to know what he is transporting. All of the rules are so he can maintain plausible deniability in case things go wrong. Anna says he will be picking up 1 passenger, that's herself, and transporting 2 packages for a total of 104 kilos to their destination from the Mediterranean bank in 3 hours. Frank agrees to the terms, and says 1 minute after 5 p.m. he leaves, with or without her. Frank leaves to get ready. Anna calls someone on her phone, telling them they are good to go. Meanwhile, Martin is at the store, buying an expensive bottle of wine. Frank is also at a local mechanic shop, working on his car to get it ready. He calls his dad, and tells him he will have to miss dinner, since some things came up, and tells his son he will just have to share dinner with someone else. Martin goes up to the woman, and offers to help her in the trunk. The woman is Gina, Gabriella Wright. At 5 p.m., Frank is waiting outside the bank. Anna appears in a blue dress and a blonde wig. Frank asks where the 2 packages are. Anna says they will be there in a minute. Frank counts down the seconds. Two other women, a Slav named Maria, Tatiana Pajkovic, and Chow, in a similar disguise as Anna. Frank asks what is going on, and Anna explains that Maria and Chow are her packages, and weigh exactly what she told him. Frank wants to bail, thinking she is changing the deal, when Maria pulls out a gun and puts it to his head. Frank is less than scared, saying that isn't the first time a gun has been put to his head, and Maria replies it will be the first time someone fires it though. Needing him to move, since nearby police are getting suspicious, Anna shows him a cell. Later on, Karasov meets with the bank manager who shows him the video footage of Anna and her conspirators taking him hostage. However, they only broke into the safety deposit box of Karasov's accountant, which had jewels, some money, and a little black book ledger. Karasov vows to find out who is responsible and make them pay, and see if anyone is missing, in case this is an inside job. Meanwhile, Frank drives the three women back to their safe house, where he sees his father handcuffed and calmly drinking a beer. Anna wants to talk about a new deal, but Frank will have none of it. He just wants his father back, and to leave. However, Anna tells him that his father has been poisoned, and will die within 12 hours if he is not given an antidote, which only they have. Frank seethes in anger, but has no choice but to go along with the next step of their plan. Meanwhile, Karasov meets with Mesa, who has lined up all the girls Karasov currently owns. She says 4 are missing. Since Karasov believes one of the girls was killed in the hotel fire, he believes 3 of his girls are doing this to him. Back at the safe house, Frank notices Anna's necklace and her friends are trying to accomplish isn't just about the money, but it is personal. Tells them he will replace the tank. Anna, Gina, and Chow go into the club and dance with some of the guys, as well as each other to kill time. Frank finds the fog machine system and switches out one of the tanks for the gas. He then texts Anna that the tank is ready, so she and her 2 friends race to the bathroom and put on gas masks they had hidden earlier. Frank is forced to knock out a club employee, but they don't buy it. The men stand up and begin to fight Frank. Back in the main club area, the DJ hits the fog machine button, and it pumps the gas into the building, knocking out Imasova and everyone else. They are now able to access his bank accounts. Using the ledger, they find the right code and log in. Frank is still battling the men in the break room, and a 4th man joins the fray. Trapped in a narrow hallway, Frank uses the shelving units to beat and incapacitate the men. Moving back into the main room, Frank fights the 4 with pipes, knocking them out. Back in Imasova's office, Anna transfers 100 million of his money into her account. The 3 get back to the car, but Frank isn't there. Anna calls Frank, who is still busy with the goons. Frank finally meets them at the car, only to see 4 more men have arrived. Listen and wait for Frank. Frank eventually knocks out the last guy, climbs back through the sunroof, and floors the car through the gate, making their escape. The next morning, Yuri learns he can finally take off in his plane. A pilot and a stewardess arrive. It is Martin and Maria. Yuri calls the pilot, who is being held hostage by the gang that Maria recruited. The pilot vouches for Martin, which calms Yuri. Martin gets ready to take off while Maria, under Yuri's request, pours some champagne. However, she laces it with a drug to knock him out. Yuri tells his guard to retire to the back room and asks Maria to keep him company. As he takes a sip, Yuri passes out due to the drugs. Maria locks the room where Yuri's guard is. She takes Yuri's fingerprints via scanner, so the group can access his money too. She then calls the gang and the pilot their payment. Karasov meets with Imasova at the nightclub, in part for his recent misfortune. Imasova is angry, thinking that Karasov is trying to double-cross him. At the safe house, Anna comes in and apologizes for what she has put him and his father through, and wants to make it up to him. She disrobes and they kiss and have sex. Martin goes with his son, telling the girls goodbye. As they drive off, Martin and Frank discuss the various dark things they have seen in their lives, and relate it to what Anna and her friends have experienced. Martin asks what his son is going to do. Frank tells him he is going to drop him off. Frank drops his father off at the consulate, disappointed in his son. Frank drives off. A moment later he gets a call from his father, but it is actually Karasov who has kidnapped him. Frank immediately returns to Anna's safe house and explains the situation as she, Maria, and Chow burn all their equipment. Frank is brought into the room. Suddenly, Yuri and Imasova arrive with their guards. Karasov asks what they are doing on his boat. They tell him he texted them to have a meeting. Besides, they are suspicious of him already. They want to know what happened to their money. Meanwhile, Someone in scuba gear dives under the boat and gets inside to the electrical mainframe. It is revealed to be Gina, counts, and prove his innocence. As he logs in, Gina supersedes him, and transfers the 200 million they stole into his account. When Yuri and Imasova see that, their suspicions are confirmed. The standoff boils over and breaks into a huge gunfight that leaves Yuri, Imasova, and many of their guards dead. Unfortunately, Maria and Chow are also killed as well. Karasov grabs Anna and drags her away. Gina, still down in the controls, transfers all the money, all $320 million back to Anna. Karasov gets to land and drag. 1 month later, Anna, in a large mansion, free from her life of prostitution, sits at her pool with a tablet. Looking at her bank accounts, she gives 75 million each to the families of Maria, Gina, and Chow, so they will never have to endure the horrors their daughters did. In addition, she sends 10 million each to Frank and his father for their trouble, leaving the last 75 million for her. That's all for this recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more movies. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. See you next time.